Okay, good morning everybody. Rob here in Bakersfield, California on the 2001 Bar Hopper. Welcome to this week's Throwback Thursday, take 2. Today's episode is going to be about the San Diego State frat party that got out of hand and my first injury to my lower back. I've already told you about getting both feet burned at the PSA 182 air disaster, getting shot at the Cleveland Elementary School sniper incident, and ripping open my ring finger in that foot pursuit of the burglary suspect. This is going to be the story of my first lower back injury. I ruptured 2 discs in my lower back of the L4 and 5 and the L5S1. So let's get to the story. I was working out of Eastern Division, one-man unit, 46 John. I get a call to go cover another officer on another beat over from me, Officer Phil. He's working a one-man unit. If I remember correctly, that was 48 John, I think. Hard to remember. Anyways, we get a call to go break up a large party up on College Avenue, North Interstate 8. Supposedly there's about 300 people at this house having a wild party. Loud music, drinking in the streets, cars racing up and down the streets. We get over there, meet up about a block down from the house because there's nowhere to park anywhere near it. We go walking down there. This guy said, well, we'll just go and make contact with somebody in the driveway and have the owner come out and tell them they got to shut the party down. Simple and easy. So we get down there at the driveway, confront a whole bunch of people out there drinking and stuff. We're asking, you know, for somebody that lives there. One guy steps forward. He says, yeah, he lives there. Him and his fraternity brothers are renting the house. Time, okay, well, go in and get some of your fraternity brothers, you know, tell them they got to shut the party down, and have a couple come out here to help us with getting rid of all the alcohol. So we set up a trash can in the middle of the driveway, have a couple of the fraternity brothers sit there, and as the people are walking out, they're telling them, you know, throw away all their open containers. They can't leave the party with any open containers, and everybody's, you know, cooperating. Things are going great. They go in, they shut the music down. I'm on one side of the driveway, next to a Volkswagen Bug, and Officer Phil's over on the other side of the driveway, up against the bushes, and we're just standing there, overseeing it, as the frat party boys are taking care of everybody, getting rid of their booze. Things are going fine until a group of about 6 guys come walking out. Well, they're not ready for the party to be over. The frat boys tell them to throw their beer away. They refuse to do it. And they get into kind of like a little argument and shoving match with the frat boys over it. So Officer Phil steps in, tells them to throw away their alcohol. Well, instead of throwing it away, the guy throws it in Officer Phil's face and then attacks him. Well, the minute I see this happen, I come across the driveway, grab the guy from behind and put him in a chokehold. Well, now, commonly referred to as a chokehold. We officially called it the Department Approved Carotid Artery Restraint Hold. But it's basically a chokehold. So I've got the guy in the chokehold. I pull him off Officer Phil and I back up against the Volkswagen. A bunch of other guys are charging in at Officer Phil. He pulls out his nightstick and starts swinging to back everybody off because he can't see what's going on. He's got beer in his face. I then get attacked by a bunch of people from the front trying to pull my arm off the guy's neck to get him free. I got my flashlight in my hand. It's a big long 5-cell D battery flashlight, metal. So I'm swinging that, backing everybody away, blocking their swings at me. They're doing a pretty good job of blocking all their hits and everything. And I got people coming in on the side trying to get me, so I'm side kicking people. And I'm kind of rest up against the side of that Volkswagen, swinging in the front, kicking on the side. And somebody gets a hold of my flashlight, pulls it out of my hand, knocks it to the ground and breaks it. So now I'm just blocking throws from the front. Some guy comes over the hood of that Volkswagen from behind me and grabs me from around the neck. Tries to start choking me. So I give him a right elbow right in the face, bust his nose wide open. The next thing I know, I feel somebody tugging on my gun in my holster. So I sidekick them and grab for my gun. Luckily they didn't get it out of the holster. And as I look over, there's this girl laying on the ground. I just sidekicked her right in the stomach and laid her out. Apparently she was the one trying to grab my gun. Then everybody starts screaming and yelling about kicking the girl and laying her out. And I say, well, she, back off. She shouldn't be trying to grab my gun. Everybody back off. And then the others out in the front are yelling, oh, you're choking him to death. You're choking him to death. And I'm saying, no, I'm not. Because I hadn't even applied any pressure around his neck. I'm just holding him there. I wasn't putting him out. So now the physical fight's kind of turned into more of just a verbal thing. And I have a little break in the little lull in the fighting, and I grab out my radio and I call for 1087 now, code 3, which means I need cover immediately. And as I'm doing that, some fool steps in and knocks my radio out of my hand and knocks it to the ground. And then the fight's back on again. So I'm blocking punches and I'm swinging and I'm kicking. And I got the guy still in the chokehold, and I tell him, you better tell your buddies they all better just start backing off or I am going to put you out. So then he starts yelling at everybody, back off, he's not hurting me, back off, stop. Just about that time, hear a bunch of sirens and tires squealing, and the cavalry arrives, and they come running in with their batons in hand, and everybody just scattered like roaches. Well, we finally get the melees all stopped, and I take the guy I got and I take him back to my patrol car, put him in the back, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, what all can I write this fool up for? I mean, I could really throw the book at him. Assaulting a police officer, resisting arrest, starting a riot, all kinds of things. Well, he's giving me this big sob story about being a 2-year law student. If he gets busted on a felony, that's going to ruin his career. He wants to become a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. I start feeling sorry for the guy, because, I can understand how things get out of hand, and he didn't really mean for it to go that far. He was just being stupid. So anyways, I feel sorry for him. I issue him a misdemeanor citation for being drunk in public and disorderly conduct, and let him go with a citation for a misdemeanor. So I go back on patrol, and I'm feeling some pain, but it's no big deal. I just figured it's the way it is after being in that big old fight. Next morning I get up, I can barely move. I can hardly walk. So now I know, okay, something more is wrong than just a little pain. So I get myself dressed and I drive down to Kaiser, who is who I had my medical insurance through. Go into the ER. They do a bunch of x-rays, do a CAT scan, and they tell me I got 2 herniated discs. And they take me off of work, put me on light duty for a follow-up facing possible back surgery. So I go into work, give my sergeant the paperwork from Kaiser, and he says, okay, well, we don't have any light duty for you, so just go on home. He says, you're probably going to get contacted by City Risk Management and have to go see their doctor, which I did. Next day I get contacted by City Risk Management and I got to go see their doctor. So I go down and see their doctor, and he don't even bother listening to me as to what Kaiser had to say. He just looks me over and he says, oh, in his opinion, it's just a muscle strain. So gives me a prescription for pain pills, gives me a couple of shots on my back, signs me back to full duty, says you're good to go back to work. So I go back into work. And of course I can't take the pain pills while I'm at work, otherwise they'll bust me for DUI. Because I've been through this before when I had the gunshot wound. So I contact my attorney that I still got, because I'm still fighting the mess from the gunshot wound. And I tell him what's going on. So he says, okay, he's going to go see the judge and try and get an emergency injunction to go see a third-party doctor. But in the meantime, I'm going to have to work full duty. Don't take the pain pills while on duty. Do the best you can. So I spend the next 3 days working full duty, ducking calls, not really doing a whole lot, because I can't do a whole lot. I can barely drive and walk. I finally get the orders to go see a third-party doctor down at Scripps. They do the MRI, CAT scans, the whole bit. They come back with their recommendations is, okay, he needs to be taken off of work. You got two choices. Go through traction and physical therapy for a year, or have emergency surgery to correct the problems. So I go back with that, turn the paperwork into the sergeant, he passes it on down the line. I get contacted by the city. The city says, okay, they'll go with Scripps' recommendation of having the emergency surgery done. So I get scheduled up and go into Scripps for surgery, have the back repaired, end up spending the next 3 months off work and on light duty, rehabbing, and finally get cleared to go back to active duty a little sooner than I probably should have. So that was the first time I injured my lower back. Over the years there will be a couple more. By the time it's all done and said, I will have 4 lower discs destroyed in my lower back. I will have had 1 more back surgery, and will end up being forced into medical retirement. But we'll get into them stories another time. Tried to keep this one short, so I didn't go into a whole lot of detail about the fight, but it was an all-out brawl. And that was pretty much the beginning of the end of my career after that back injury. And in hindsight, I probably should have thrown the book at that little son of a gun. But that's the way it goes. Hope y'all enjoyed my story. Hit the like button if you did, and make some comments. Subscribe for if you want more Throwback Thursdays. And if you don't, go watch somebody else's channel. See y'all later. Bye-bye.